far ahead, and then they like overcommit to dumb fights deep in the enemy territory because they have such an advantage, and they actually overestimate how much of an edge they have because they're not even used to being up 7-1 kills in the early game, so they don't really know their limits there yet, I think.
Right.
But I am. We have Tucson, a jungler that really hasn't been able to get it together in terms of early game pressure and ganking, so they're probably not going to beat out Hojin and Gorilla in terms of map pressure early. And guess what? I am also a team has shown very lackluster ability to close games. You know who's really good at closing out games? The KOO Tigers.
Yep.
Very decisive side wave control, something that also I am lacks. There's just so few ways you can actually picture Incredible Miracle winning this series.
Yeah, it just seems like stylistically, technically, mechanically, philosophically, spiritually, it's just a very rough match for IM, ecologically.
That's right, especially ecologically in Summoner's Rift. That's very difficult victory. All right, well, the Ryze actually banned out by IM. Surprises me that Apple wouldn't want to take that, so will we see the Gragas first pick here for Tucson?
Certainly could. Getting a nice, safe, stable jungler for Tucson seems like a good way to start things for Incredible Miracle. Makes me wonder too if what Sunstar's been practicing. Obviously, we talked a lot about playing a ton of Corki last season. Was looking pretty good on that Lucian. But if they pick the Gragas, I wonder if he might pull out the Vayne.
Yeah, he's just the thing about Songstar is that he just has always looked like a very average to slightly below average AD carry, and there's not been a lot of sparkle to any of his play. And Roar, who's replacing, I think, has carried IM in a couple of their wins so far this season, so I do find it a bit questionable to replace him, but maybe Sunstar just doing a lot better right now. Of course, Sivir and Nautilus coming through. Pretty standard picks for the Tigers.
Oh, yeah. Kro's had plenty of games on that Nautilus this season, and of course, everybody's got plenty of games on Sivir right now. So 2 picks over to LZIM.
It's intriguing that they would take the Nautilus so quickly in this draft, because that... I mean, if we think about Ignar, he's probably going to play Thresh.
It just seems like they don't want to give a lot away about their composition, you know?
Well,
Nautilus is pretty safe in lane.
Maybe there's a weird jungler coming through or something like that. You never know with Hojin, the guy who plays Jungle Scion in the finals, so... Hojin is a bit of a weird jungler that he sometimes comes out with some rather unorthodox picks.
Well, KOO Tigers in general, I mean, speaking of Scion, this is also the team that ran mid-Scion in one of their later matches last season, too.
Yeah, beating up CJ Entis with that.
The humiliation of CJ was complete.
The double banner Scion of Command. Double banner Scion of Command.
Scion of Command. That sounds good.
All right, so Apple will get the Rumble. Champion that he actually has made some decent plays on. Sunstar just going right back to the Corki. So, are they going to play Riven here? Because Smed does like to pick Riven into Corki. He's played in every single Riven game he has played that matchup.
It would make sense. So maybe Jungle Nautilus here? Let's see him lock in the Blitzcrank. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. The W's not good now.
Play Riven. Do it. Yes, play Bard.
Or Bard. You know, Gorilla's only got 1 game on Bard this season, and it was not a win.
It was not very impressive, either.
No. Well, he was like, out of all the supports I talked to in Korea, for the longest time, he was like, no, I hate Bard. I'm never going to play Bard. No. Never gonna play Bard. So he is just like philosophically against Bard.
I'm sure that's why he played him.
Yeah, only once. Only once, because Novak probably made him, you know.
That's more than all the other supports in Korea for the most part, except for Luna and Madlife Gorilla. Those are the only guys who have played it so far. So I guess you have to take it to the rest of the teams.
Wasn't there one more? I thought there was one more. Could be. I don't know. I can't help them being behind the times. It was Maokai and Evelyn picked up for the KOO Tigers, though. Perhaps a Poppy. See, I said that with a straight face. How about that?
Yeah, the Varus for Frozen. Definitely a pick that they like to use. Varus, Corki, Rumble. Very strong composition in the mid game, but you have to blind pick that Varus. You're going to be less worried about blind picking Varus against Kuro because he's not really an assassin player. So I think there is a more minor concern, and that's what they're going to take.
So what do you do here? Do you go for, like, the Victor, potentially?
I mean, Victor, we've seen it constantly banned against Kuro.
Yeah, I think that'd be... I mean, he's like the original Victor.
Play Echo, but this would be such an un-Kuro-like pick. I would love to see if he's actually good on this champion, because he just hasn't been there, and it will be the mid-Echo.
Very cool.
This is very exciting, because Kuro just not known as an assassin player. If he's gonna play something like that in the mid lane, it's usually gonna be Cassadin, but he's not ever really been a Zed player or something like that, something with a lot of high-intensity mechanics about it.
See, what you have to understand about Kuro is that he's basically reverse Nagne, where Nagne plays all the assassins, struggles a bit with the AP mages, a safer play. Kuro's like the guy who plays all those, and then he has a little bit of a hard time with the assassins.
Yeah, he really has been much more down. We just look at his career. Orianna, Syndra, that was where his roots really lay. And then now we've seen...
All right, welcome once again to Summoner's Rift. I am versus the KOO Tigers. I like our fans. That's just fun. Yep. I agree with that guy.
You agree with that guy?
I do, yeah.
I'm going to start putting fans that just yell, Doa is the worst in the audience.
Don't throw your new team ownership dollars around so frivolously, Monty. So this is what you were going to use it for. Player focus indeed.
That's what I like to do. Troll with money.
Right. Just the path to greater trolling. That's the plan. Oh, something about champions.
She came from somewhere to watch champions, but I didn't read where she came from.
I always get confirmed, or when it's in the middle of a sentence, I get confused between like looking at something and staring at something. The way that it's worded is different. So I don't know.
Okay.
I'm still learning Korean, believe it or not.
Shocking. I hear it's a really easy language. What's wrong with you?
Barry is fired next week. Taking over.
All right, so lane swap coming in. KOO Tigers going to initiate that one. And this doesn't surprise me just because Gorilla loves to harass early with this Nautilus. It's a really big strength of his. He's going to find it in here. He's one of the best players in terms of getting this early harassment. He's going to be okay.
Yeah, they're calling that one. Get the flash.
Nice job. They got the flash. So he was there a little bit early. He walked in thinking they may have started at the buff, but since they started the Gromp, he got caught up just a little bit, had the flash right there, and didn't get enough harassment down as he would like. Meantime, Ignar is just going to chase him right off the wolves. A flay for the wolves.
Did he get one of them? Yeah, he did. Wow, nice job. Oh, he wants another one. I don't know if this is going to work.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay, sure. 16 gold, man. Got to get that 16 gold.
It's really about the experience, because that's actually quite a bit of experience at level 1.
I suppose.
On those. Because it's
wouldn't he get at least that much by being in lane for that same amount of time, though?
No, because he would share it with Corki.
So how many minions worth of XP is a small wolf, do you think?
I actually don't know. It's about half the wolf camp in total. So it's probably about, at level 1, it's probably about half a level of XP. So that's pretty good.
Okay. All right. So
it's definitely worth taking it if you're already there.
Well, recalls coming in already for the KOO Tigers. Looks like they're going to have a bit of a lane swap. And they're going to send Gorilla down to the bot lane, along with Smeb. Well, we'll see if Kuro can make this happen. Now, he had Ignite, but he switched it to Cleanse at the last moment before we went into the game. So maybe not planning on being quite as aggressive against this Varus as we thought.
That actually is very interesting, because the only thing he's going to be able to get hit by is the Chain of Corruption or maybe a Thresh Hook. That's really the only crowd control effects he has to worry about in this game.
I mean...
And switching it to the Cleanse is just... It's odd, because you'd think you'd be able to dodge some of these with just the phase dive. So
you do get a little bit of speed anyway from his abilities. So I think maybe part of it is because you've got larger slow fields from Gragas, from Varus, from Rumble as well, that if you cleanse to like just kind of pop out of it, you can get to the back lines faster.
Yeah, maybe. I think you take Ignite here and just try and get all over the Varus as fast as you can and just do the damage and not really care if you get hit by much of anything. And you should have faith in your skills, I think, to dodge the crowd control that's coming in.
It is Kuro, though.
Very conservative. So, farm under the turret right there as best he can. And lane swap continuing. So we do see Ignar back in the top side right now. Prey really playing back, but Apple and Ignar go ahead and break that freeze in the end.
Oh, nice. Nice arrow from Frozen. And we talked about it a little bit earlier, but Frozen has certainly been one of the bright spots on IM, and I would imagine that, you know, in the off-season, if he doesn't stick around IM, there's going to be a few other teams interested in giving him a shot.
A lot of good mid laners in this league, though. So,
true.
I mean, I think if he went to a different team, probably in the bottom 4.
Spinning?
Well,
I don't know if you want.
I don't know if
that's
you
not
want to go to
exactly an upgrade,
Spenu.
but-
I don't know if you want to go to Spenu. Maybe Samsung though. Crown has been doing pretty well, but Frozen would probably still be an upgrade.
We're fairly close. Oh, Time Winder makes Frozen take more time to get back to base.
His time has been wound.
That's right. Received a small wound from the wound Winder.
Great. I'm not going to get into this with you. I know what road this leads down.
A long and winding one.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect. Why does he have the Euro sign above his head? Oh, now it's like the Daredevil symbol. No, wait. It's just that symbol where you like switch apps on your phone.
Well,
Yeah,
he's just going to use the
using
chrono
alt.
break right now to get back into lane instantly after picking up nearly a Morellonomicon. So
Yep.
that means focusing on farming for the future and just trying to keep up the pressure in that lane.
That's so Kuro.
So it is fun that you can do that as soon as you hit 6 with Echo, and then not give up any pressure. Now Frozen sitting there, unable to get any items while his opponent has some, unless he wants to lose some CS and take some hits on the turret. Man, Kuro is just so irritating.
Oh. Close. Oh well. See, he's Echo. Shouldn't he go back and try that again?
Yeah, why can't he wind time and deal with that?
No.
Make sure he gets it perfect.
He couldn't make use of that time, so he doesn't deserve those seconds.
Ah, yes. The cheesy writing. Wow, really trying to deny 2 ways before this Varus can get back. He's only going to lose 1, though, so it's not... Wow,
Uh-oh.
Kuro. Okay.
There you go. Cleanse justified.
Actually was, considering that Tucson was right there behind him.
It
Maybe
could have been, yeah, that could have been
following
a
up
pick.
on that.
Yeah.
Corner break back up now. Grab the blue buff, but he can come back to that lane anytime he wants.
Yep.
As long as he has that ability up and he has the... What is going on with those little symbols? I don't know what they mean, though.
I'm not actually sure either, yeah. Probably some really obvious thing that we just are forgetting. Speaking of obvious things, Dragon being taken by the KOO Tigers. There it goes. And a lot of damage being done to this mid lane, so already KOO just grabbing a bit of an advantage.
Oh, this is a very tactical way to play Echo, right? Where you just punish any kind of recall that your opponent has to get priority over that mid tower and make sure that you can keep on chipping it away. KOO Tigers just playing less aggressively than we've seen them play in the past. But they're taking advantage of this tier build and the pressure they have on mid lane to take that early dragon. You know, that's another thing. All of the pressure Echo's putting on is opening up other objectives that the team is taking. And especially because they had that higher wave clear before Sunstar hit 6 as well. Just moving right down into that bottom lane, putting Smeb back in top side and then dealing with it that way. Smeb has gotten a very nice CS lead as well.
A little bit of a lead, too, for Kuro in the mid lane, although that's going to shrink a little bit as he's hiding. But KOO able to be pretty dominant in lane so far.
As
Now,
expected.
When is Tucson going to make a move on this Gragas? That's what I'm wondering. We've seen him try it a little bit, maybe, but he hasn't really committed to anything just yet.
Well, he doesn't really gank as a player. That's been one of the big issues. Kuro right back in after finishing that Morellonomicon. Has a pink ward to cover his flanks.
So this is an
Wants to
interesting...
keep pushing.
Yeah, I mean, he's just saying, I just want to farm. All I want to do is just get a ton of gold, get a lot of items.
Face check Gragas.
Nearly face check a Gragas. See, what happened was he did face check it and died, and then he went back in time and didn't, and we only saw the result that stuck.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, that's right.
Riot has actually created time travel software.
It would have been first blood, but I'm not sure if like they're gonna come and like erase my memory now that I figured that out or something. I'm not worried. Although I am feeling a little bit more paranoid than usual in general because I just started watching the X-Files on Netflix.
Is that affecting your mood a little bit?
It does. It just makes you a little bit more paranoid.
Are you worried about Aliens in Seoul now as we look at Smeb finding Ignar?
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Well,
that is just so annoying.
I know. KOO just bulldozing down the lane. I mean, what do you do? What do you do against this? Apparently nothing. Apparently you just leave the lane, and now KOO can start to roam, and things are going to get a little bit dangerous.
The best part about this Echo pick is the fact that because he took the mid lane turret early and IM is playing a siege composition, it just screws them over.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because now they have to overextend once they hit their power spike in the mid game, and that opens up so many opportunities for Evelynn and Maokai to just get into the back line because they'll have the deep wards in the enemy jungle and they'll be able to get those angles. So, you know, this is actually a moment where you really have to respect the KOO Tigers level of strategy, because I didn't really understand what the Echo pick was going to bring here, but it actually, because of the laning phase turret pressure, is providing a counter for this IM mid-game siege comp. This is really cool.
It's really interesting in general to think of the idea that Echo could just be used as this high-pressure lane pusher by not trying to go all in or do anything fancy, but just using that ult to continuously go back in lane and push the turret.
Well, it's so brilliant too, because if we think about a champion like Varus, you want to go back to get that tier early on. You need to hit certain item timings, or else it delays your power spike so much. So you have to go back. You're also going to have a tier early, so you're not really going to hit very hard in the early part of the game to really force this Echo. And he has a lot of tools to dive you, or to dive away from your abilities, rather, to dive away from that piercing arrow. So this is just a really interesting strategy.
Yeah.
But it should be very effective. And this Varus can't do anything. So the question becomes at this stage, how does IM ever apply pressure in their power spike?
It's a great question.
Because now they're faced with a situation where they can't push down bot turret unless they get a kill, because the Sivir has the wave control with her great wave clear. And they can't really put any pressure on the mid lane. And Maokai, I mean, Smeb's been doing a very good job at just pushing up, making sure that there's no damage on their turrets. So IM is really going to have some problems actually executing when they're strongest.
Well, not only has Smeb been putting that pressure on, but he's also been able to get a big CS lead doing it too. Just kind of dominating Apple and lane in general. And now less than a minute until Dragon comes up. Lanes are pushed. And KOO looks like they're in a pretty good spot to take it.
Yeah, they're in an excellent spot. Absolutely excellent. So there we go. There's going to be the depth charge.
Oh, missed him. And wow, everybody committing for that one. The flash ult from Evelynn. Ignar in a lot of trouble. First blood goes over to Smeb. And now they can transition this right into a dragon. 30 seconds until it's up.
Just thinking ahead.
Yep.
Using that teleport into the bottom side instantly. They forced Apple's TP as well, but it was late. They caught out Ignar, and now they're going to have an uncontested dragon, one would assume, after a little bit of an all-in right there. Had to blow a couple of flashes to make that one work, but they are going to be rewarded with it, with the dragon, because there's just no pressure in the mid lane from Incredible Miracle.
Well, KOO Tigers, again, totally set up for this one. IM may try to steal it. We'll see. Sunstar Tucson getting fairly close. There's Apple as well. They can just turn on this. They grab Apple. Frozen throwing the ult in. Doesn't really hit anybody with it. KOO getting low. Able to get out, though, with his ultimate. Nice equalizer to cover the escape here, or to rather chase down for LGIM. They may need to escape, though. Oh, nice arrow from Frozen onto Gorilla.
Really?
That worked, and IM turning that one around.
Yeah, really odd that they would actually just try and fight right there. They didn't have the Sivir ultimate up, or the Evelynn ultimate, or the Nautilus ultimate to actually engage right there. And this is a point in the game where Sunstar is going to be particularly strong on Corki, as well as the Rumble Apple. So I think you just try and finish the dragon right there instead of going for the greedy engage.
Well, they're not going to be the ones finishing the dragon at all now. It's going to be taken by IM, and that will tie things up. dragon-wise.
There's just no need to do that because with Echo, you have the parallel convergence just to threaten that choke point, and you can run in a way where your shadow will reach it while the enemy team is getting there. So that was a bit sloppy by the Tigers, and LZIM taking good advantage of this. They're grouping up. They want this bottom lane turret, and they're going to take it down.
Yeah, they're going to tie the turret score as well, too, with this. 1-1. KOO Tigers. Such a good game plan early on, but then just kind of some sloppy play, and we're back to a very close game now.
Yeah, we are. They still have the problem of not having any control over the mid lane and all of these deep wards going in, so KOO is going to be able to track their movements and actually just know when and where they're grouping. They're also going to get the top lane turret, so it was really only a dragon and a couple kills that the Tigers gave up, but that's still a lot early on. It's definitely was not necessary.
Well, KOO coming up just to protect. Make sure that Smeb gets out just fine.
He's going to go in with Hojin.
Yeah, drops a W there. Apple dodges it, gets a shield anyway. Apple very low. Hojin pops that Evelyn ultimate. Sanstar and Ignar right there, though. They grab KOO with the death sentence, uses his ult to get out for now, so he stays alive, but KOO has to back away. They got the kill on the Apple. Will they get anything else?
Nope, they're going to just walk away. KOO barely got out of that one in time.
Yeah.
Had his chrono break up for the heal right as the death sentence CC ended. So it does make it out with the Ignite ticking on him, but nice little pick there. And this is what those wards do for you.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's what they have to do. Just play aggressively and prevent IM from grouping on their towers, because this is the point where IM really wants to get stuff done. Take out that outer ring if they can. Now, they're very far extended right now, but there's no more Evelyn ult to really be a threat. And no TP from Smeb either. Smeb's going to walk up, though.
Oh, they're going to ult onto Gorilla, catching him with the Varus, and Frozen nearly gets a kill. Tucson gets a finishing blow there. Gorilla just sticking around a little bit too long. That was like a max range Varus ultimate.
Here we go.
Yep, engaging. KOO comes in right now, tries to get that stun off. Frozen backing away. Sanstar's still in a pretty decent spot as well. Both supports down now for these teams.
But still, 1-for-1, and they take that very critical outer turret. But I am still behind in terms of gold. They're starting to put pressure on the mid lane. Apple is pushing it, so KOO not really responding well to what's going on right now, in spite of having that very nice early game advantage.
Yep, Tucson coming down to help out, help keep the lane pushed as well. Meanwhile, bottom lane looks like it's pushing in the KOO Tigers' favor. I think top is probably too.
They're going to be able to save the mid lane tower. But that was definitely, and it was some good play by IM. Grouping up right there, responding to a death by pushing forward and just getting a kill, or getting a tower kill, rather.
Yeah, showing a bit of decisiveness that we haven't seen a lot from them this season.
And the Tigers really need to get wards into the enemy jungle. That should be their #1 mission right now. Go into the bottom side, get what you can, and start to try and make more of these plays in terms of picks.
Looks like they're trying. Couple wards in, but Ignar is there to take them out right away. They really want to get this bottom tier 1, though.
Yeah, it'd be very important for them to have that first outer ring down before their opponents can do the same to them. You know, I haven't been too impressed with KOO's use of parallel convergence so far. Hasn't really hit too many of those stuns yet.
It's a really hard ability to hit. Like, out of abilities on new champions that have come out, excuse me, that one's probably one of the toughest.
Yeah, I think the most impressive Echo player I've seen so far has been Huni. He really is good at landing the stuns and timing it properly.
Prey taking a little bit of damage, nearly taking out that bottom lane turret. Not quite finishing it off.
Yeah, Dragon's going to come up in a minute and a half. So this KOO has to protect Prey while he's pushed far up without that tower if they want to try and get that down. Instead, no, they're just going to recall for the moment, try and get a buy-in before that Dragon comes back, and give them enough time just to push that wave up once more and maybe plow it through the turret with that very low HP.
Yeah, man, the next time a minion visits that turret, if it breathes on it, the turret's going to go down. So I don't think KOO is in a huge hurry to clear it out. We'll see if they're able to take the Dragon first.
Really weird that Kuro's buying Abyssal Scepter this game in the lane against the Varus. He's obviously very confident in not being hit by much of Varus's damage and more worried about Rumble and the Corki Rockets poking about in the team fights, but still definitely a risk. Does put him at a high degree of vulnerability.
Well, Gorilla trying to save this turret. Bray comes in with his wave clear, so it should be okay. Oh, here we go, the flank from the side. Hojin lands a big ultimate. Gorilla already down, but here comes a teleport engage from Smeb. Gets into the back lines, Equalizer goes down, and KOO just goes right around it. Kuro getting in. Hojin with a kill on Tucson there, and Sanstar and Ignar on their run. That's the fight that the KOO Tigers were looking for. Ignar just queuing over to the Krugs, but it looks like they'll chase anyway. There's another kill. Kuro picks one up. Sanstar in trouble, but he should be able to get back to the turret. Wow, Smeb chasing just to get that flash.
Yeah, very good timing. And
Yeah.
the Dragon is live once again. They could just transition into doing that. And that is the danger of IM's composition. The flank was set up so well in conjunction with the with the teleport and the Righteous Glory right there that it made it very easy because Smeb got on top of Frozen instantly, and Echo Kuro was able to put down the damage just to eliminate him from the fight before he could do much of anything. So we see the engage right here, but this is actually bad because the all-in puts them too close to the tower. There you go, Home Guard, Righteous Glory engage, and look at this. Just insane damage coming through from that back line, and Bray's just able to walk through everyone and continue to get the auto attacks and the damage down. And as the chase continues right here, you do see the phase dive. He's going to hop over the wall, and then Time Winder for the finisher.
Now, hopefully CJ was watching that one.
Here we go.
Another fight. Smeb a little bit caught here. Chain's doing some work. They're going to pull Smeb really far in. Wow, Gorilla comes in as well, too. A little bit awkward engagement there. Equalizer dropped. Gorilla taking some damage. Nice flay back onto the Equalizer. Frozen picking him off with the arrow in the end. Decent plays from LGIM so far in this game.
Well, that's what happens. So these two fights are really just how IM has to fight. One of them, as we saw the first one, the problem is that they moved forward and therefore made a very easy flank for the Tigers. That time, they're kiting out. That's when you use that poke, and now they may get their second dragon of the game.
I really thought the KOO Tigers were going to take this dragon on their way out after they won that fight, but not doing it, and the second dragon does indeed go to LG, or not LG.
Here we go.
Longzhu IM. KOO Tigers
Ray
doing a
wants
lot of damage
this.
with that bouncing blade. Yeah, Kuro trying to get a little bit closer. IM health totals are pretty low. Oh, there
Nice
we go. Stun
stun.
onto Tucson with the parallel convergence. Kuro trying to back away, uses the ult to escape. Chrono break. Whoa, Prey caught with the Varus ultimate, gets taken out. Frozen is having a great game on this Varus, but Kuro, whoa, threatening. Again, Smebs
back
gets
in
onto
there.
Frozen. Frozen got a little bit too quickly, nearly took out Hojin, but Smebs all over him now. Can Frozen actually escape? Goes down in the minion line to try to get Maokai to take a little bit more damage, rather.
Kuro's there. Tucson might
Oop.
get him. No, they're just both in wards. So
Wow.
no one actually going in right there. Scary time for Kuro, and a really nice chain of corruption onto Prey there, as Prey wanted to follow that up. The KOO Tigers supremely confident in their skills, just keep on fighting in this match, and Smeb was able to get back very quickly after his death thanks to the early home guard boots.
Right. Man, I've been impressed by Frozen's play so
Yeah.
far this
I
game.
mean,
A lot of great arrows, great catch on Prey in that last fight.
We've seen the Varus band against him before. There's a reason.
Yep.
Had a very tough lane, but since that point has really made it work in team fights.
It's things like that, too, that are really keeping IM in this game as well. If Frozen hadn't gotten a couple kills when he did, I think KOO Tigers would be much farther ahead. Now, that said, it's still looking like it's a bit tough for IM to get the siege pressure on that they want to with this Pocom.
And the timing window is closing.
Yeah.
I mean, Smeb, he's getting super tanky up in that top side, and Hojin's not going to be very vulnerable to the poke for much longer as she starts to build into things like a Randuin's Omen. And the brutal Randuin's Omen Evelyn engage against 280 carries is going to be a major buzz kill for IM's composition.
Pretty much. I am just still sticking around the mid lane for now. That turret is pretty low, so they'd like to finish it off. Well, I guess it's got about 2/3, 3/4 health left or so. But it would go down pretty quickly. KOO Tiger's just taking some time to clear out some vision here too. Just trying to muscle their way back into the map control.
Well, they have a gold lead. They have the better scaling composition. The longer this game goes, the better for them. They don't have to necessarily fight right now. They just have to keep IM off their turrets until they get some more items. I mean, once Kuro, it's a little bit poke right there, gets a Zhonya's Hourglass, it's going to be pretty hard for them to do much of anything. Yeah, it looks like that is what he's going to be buying next for his item.
Makes sense. I mean, he's almost been caught a few times. He's had to use his ult to get out of fights, which is, you know, it's interesting. He hasn't been using his ult to try to get, you know, those big AoE damage bursts. He's been using it to get out. He's been using it to get back in the lane.
Yeah, it's really hard to use the ult to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Like 90% of the time, you're going to use the ult to get out. The other team, I mean, you have to have some brilliant setup for that, or the other team has to make a very large error, or you have to have a Zhonya's Hourglass done, which he does now. So maybe, because that means that the timer is cut to 2 seconds in combat, because you'll be stasis for the other 2 seconds for your shadow to catch up. That is why that item is so important on that go, is because it actually significantly increases the odds that you will do damage with your ultimate instead of just having to hop out of a fight.
Well, I am kind of lurking in their own jungle right now.
And KOO just setting up for another dragon right now, and they have the control over all the waves on the map. They are in a very, very good position, and the fact that we're 27 minutes into this game, and LZIM with their siege composition has not even taken the entire outer ring of towers, and most importantly, it's the mid turret that's still up, is really not a great sign for them if they want to close out this game.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it so many times. When a siege comp can't siege, that's very quickly the end of things.
Yep, look at all the wards too. Check out the wards from KOO Tigers in the mid lane right now. They have 2 different deep mid lane wards to flank on if IM gets cute and walks through that choke. Smeb is just going to TP onto one of those and flank them inside the choke point. And if Hojin can also get a good E-Bolt there, that is going to be incredibly painful for them. And LZIM basically has to walk through that choke if they want to contest this dragon. Smeb just is 30 seconds left, and he's already just sitting in base. They're waiting for this. The setup is very well planned.
I'm telling you, man.
For the KOO Tigers.
CJ better be watching this one. Getting some pretty decent lessons in flanking here.
Oh.
Well, he can still come in.
Yeah, he can, but I wanted to see the big setup right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking like IM just isn't really being too aggressive right now in general.
He just ran into the jungle, did nothing, and is recalling for his home guard again. They want to get behind. The wards have been cleared out, though, in that mid lane. They're going to get another one, so now he has fewer options. He's got one on the high ground. Oh, do it.
Still one in Dragon Pit as well, too. He can kind of run around the corner.
So they're pinging on the pink ward. He may have to come in there. Those lane wards were actually really important for him. Ah, he's got that one. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. See, look at what KOO's doing, though. They're walking over there into the choke to try and bait them into the proper position for the teleport. This is so good. Look at Doe. He's coming around behind.
And
Hojin's there, too.
Can they get another flank? Wow, Hojin has managed to sneak way back there. The teleport's got to be coming soon.
This is such good positioning.
Cue the Jaws theme. There's a teleport coming in right now. IM, they know what's going on. They try to run away. Ignar gets a death sentence onto Maokai right away, but Maokai's already there. Prey with the first kill already. Sunstar on his own a little bit. Nice grab from Gorilla. Gets picked off with a death sentence as well to Hojin, a little bit low. So IM, despite losing Apple, actually manages to kite their way away from that one.
Yeah, that was a good death sentence by Ignar there to stop the home guard engage. Yeah, he still got onto Frozen a little bit, but Frozen was able to get out of it without using any summoner spells. Now they're just going to try and go for it.
Oh, thanks. Oh, nearly stolen. Tucson couldn't quite get it, though.
So still,
mid-lane turret.
very
Still
nice
okay.
setup from the KOO Tigers. They get what they want. Now, can they protect the mid tower also? So much damage. Looks like that will be folly.
Yep.
So at least I am trade something. I am also, though, reading that situation very well. And Ignar timing his hook on that TP. They had cleared out so many wards, but he was still in the right place on the very limited number of possible ward locations to pick it up with the hook. Very well done. This is a fun game to watch.
Yeah, if Smeb had gotten in there without being stopped, that fight would have gotten much, much worse for IM.
Right, and IM, not the end of the world for them. They got a turret. They traded evenly. They already had 2 dragons anyway, so not a big timer on this game as we pass 30 minutes.
Not a whole lot. Oh, here comes Crow. Couldn't quite get him with the W.
Well, got the flash, though. That's pretty valuable.
Not
Trade a Rumble flash for a W as Hojin collapsed on the other side. And they got the Scuttle Crab, too, so taking that away while Apple was trying to get it.
Yeah, I suppose it's kind of all about Baron at this point. 31 minutes into the game. KOO Tigers really needs that vision if they want to pull ahead again.
Wow, what is Sonstar's build this game? He went for Last Whisper before even finishing his... I mean, he does no damage right now. And there's not even really a reason to go for Last Whisper this early instead of the Blade of the Ruined King. You want that blade for the sustain it can give you, considering there's so many melee champions that are going to be on top of you in these team fights.
And it's not like there's a ton of armor on the other side. Smeb obviously has a bit, but beyond that, there's not a lot. There's really none.
Smeb,
almost none.
Or Frozen bought Banshee's Veil as a 4th item because he keeps getting ulted by Evelyn or W'd by Maokai in these fights. So he's trying to just make sure he doesn't get CC'd by one of those 2 quick spells.
I'm sure Gorilla's been looking for his opportunities as well, too, at that.
So back to the mid lane siege.
Yeah, we may see something similar here. Smeb and Apple, though, keeping an eye on each other. Only Apple has teleport at the moment, though.
Yeah, they can make a play if they want to. I mean, there's not really a problem for them not to make a play right now because it could result in a Baron, and there's very little cross-map that the KOO Tigers can do.
Yeah,
Smeb may just get caught out by 4 people right here.
Well, he's trying to get back to his turret. Oh, nice dodge in the death sentence. Doesn't dodge that. Oh, good explosive cast. He flashes over the wall, though. Dodges a Varus out while they used nearly everything. They used every ult except Equalizer. And I'm not counting the Corky Rockets to try to take down Smeb, and he just flashes out of it.
Technically, they did use the Corky Rockets, Noah.
Right, but it's not like a long cooldown ult, so not worth mentioning. No Equalizer. But I am pretty vulnerable right now without those ultimates. I wonder if the KOO Tigers are going to try to capitalize on that.
Well, I don't know if they have enough of a timing window right here unless they find themselves an extremely good engage, but they can at least push a little more aggressively than they were previously. You know, Chain of Corruption and Explosive Cast, pretty short cooldown, so you're really only looking at the box right there as a major timer. And they didn't use any summoner spells to affect that gank. Now, this slow clearance of wards continues. Exciting times here in Summoner's Rift.
Oh, yeah. You can tell KOO's a little bit apprehensive about things this point in the game. I mean,
well, it's not
we
like
know they're 5,000 gold ahead, but it doesn't feel like that to them right now.
Well, they can't win without fighting around Dragon or Baron, though. Their siege is terrible. They just have a Sivir. I mean, and then they have, 4 melee champions. So basically, they cannot siege against the poke, because if they walk up to a turret, Tucson is just going to explosive cast them further in, and they're going to die. So they basically just have to wait for dragons to get fights or to bait Baron and get fights that way. That is the only way they can win this game. They actually cannot push the outer ring or the inner ring on their own.
A minute 20 until that next dragon comes up.
And they also can't split push because they have Maokai. Maybe they can split push with Echo if you were to get a Lich Bane, but that is it. It's just, this game is entirely for the KOO Tigers about stacking dragons and forcing fights around that objective. And because they lost a couple dragons early, that has extended this game. Certainly they're in the lead, but it's not actually particularly meaningful in terms of closing because they have no way to do it.
And KOO Tigers have been so good traditionally at closing the season too, that it is a little bit surprising to see them kind of
No, they can't do
like
anything. Yeah, they're fine. They're doing a fine job at closing.
Well, I'm just surprised they're in that situation to begin with because of that early lead.
But they can't siege, especially against this composition. This is the way they close. This is actually the good way to close with this composition. Just keep control over the center of the map and then methodically fight for dragons. They don't have any other choice unless they want to do something really dumb.
There we go. No, there we don't go. I was going to say wake me up when something happens.
Yeah.
Nearly a pick onto Ignar, but no such luck. They want to try something, though.
Well, he didn't use a whole lot. And I am, again, in the uncomfortable situation having to walk through that choke. This is on the blue side of the map. Apple's thinking about teleporting, and that's why the KOO Tigers, they want this speed shrine. Just so they are. Here we go. We're doing it again.
Hojin ready. Teleports coming in from both sides. Dragon getting very, very low. Evelyn ult used. Dragon taken by the KOO Tigers. Maokai into the backlines already. Frozen doing a lot of damage. Not caught quite yet. Smeb getting burst down. Gorilla flashes in just to get the knock-up onto Apple, who Zonia's right away. Smeb still going for now. Sunstar finally takes him out. Kuro into the backlines. There's the Zonia's, and he'll be able to get out with his ult if he needs to. Just dashes over the wall in the meantime. The KOO Tigers on the run, though. I am turning this one around. A lot of damage onto Sunstar, though, so this fight maybe drawing to a bit of a close. We'll see Hojin trying to maneuver, doing a lot of damage to Sunstar, forcing him back over the wall. Gorilla pushes in. Goodbye, Tucson. Prey picks up a kill there. Ignar grabs Prey, though, and there's another one for Frozen. Frozen being the hero of this game. One more arrow. Oh, Hojin. No, not dodging it at all. There's the triple. He dodged the rocket, couldn't dodge the arrow, and Kuro the only one to escape from that fight.
So KOO right there, they had the right idea, but they actually were still trying to secure the dragon when they had Smeb go in. And therefore, there was so much damage done to Smeb before he was actually able to get back up. And even then, they all had to run through a choke where Sunstar was just raining down rockets, and Frozen with that accuracy, getting a lot of kills in this one. Smeb now there to save the mid lane turret. So they got the dragon, though. It's still very close in terms of gold.
Now, Hojin had to use his ult really early in the choke that fight as well, too, just to help them secure that. So the commitment, like you said, just a little bit too high.
But it was just a missed timing from the KOO Tigers. There was no reason for Smeb to go in that early. They didn't have adequate follow-up. Because we look at this right now. There's the dragon. There's the Civarol. Smeb gets into the back line, but you see the equalizer laid down means that there's no help from anyone at all. Look, Smeb's nearly dead by the time that Prey gets there, and he's going to have to just flash over the wall. No, he just dies right there. And Kuro tries to get into the back line onto Frozen as well, but is kited out and has to leave. And the rest of this fight, Sunstar flashes over. This is a bit hasty. He's actually... Look at that hook, too, from Ignar. Ignar thought that the chrono break was coming in, so he threw a hook onto the shadow just to protect Sunstar. Ignar is really good at playing this Thresh. That is very impressive.
Yeah.
And then he grabs Prey at the end of the fight, too, and the burst from Frozen. I am just so impressed with Ignar this game, honestly.
Well, I'm impressed by some of these arrows as well, too. Like this one. Oops. Nowhere to go, though. I mean, if you go towards Gromp, you're going to get cut off and killed. Go the other way, there's an arrow.
The foresight, though, to throw that hook, because you know Kuro still has ultimate, and your Corki has just flashed over a wall to play aggressively, is wonderful to see.
Yeah. Hojin looking to come in from behind again. The ults are up. Another 5 minutes, another flank. And IM really wants to get this turret. Are they going to commit to this? I'm backing off, trying to play it safe. I think they know what's up here.
Yeah, just the trade-off you make with this composition at this mid lane echo is, yeah, you had that early pressure. You were able to get a very rapid turret. They still want to go for a flank. Pink wards everywhere, though. Nice job by IM.
Yeah, they can see where Hojin is. They're just kind of chasing him around now. Oh, Hojin coming in, though. Nice ult on everyone. They caught them in the middle of the aisle there. Equalizer goes down, cuts off the KOO Tigers a little bit from Smeb. Smeb on his own in the back line. Can they come and save him here? Frozen zoning with all those arrows. Sonstar manages to pick up the kill onto Smeb. That equalizer from Apple just really prevented the KOO Tigers from following up on Hojin's ult in that choke point.
Second great equalizer from Apple in this game that has absolutely saved the team fights. Because even though it looked like the KOO Tigers were going to have a great engage, he again prevented the carries from actually doing damage. And IM is playing very well against the flanks.
Yes, they are. Now they're going for this Baron. Smeb not around. Verisalt doesn't connect with anybody. And ooh, they managed to take out Hojin right away, bringing him in. Prey, not enough range to really do a lot, but they manage at least to force IM off of that Baron.
Oh, are they going to go back to
have
it?
they?
I mean,
Ooh,
you can't.
that's dangerous.
You can't go back to that. You are way too low right now, but they did a good job of developing the side waves in any event. And they're going to try and...
Oh, Prey. Oh, flash, Prey, spell shields a death sentence, though. Still taking a ton of damage, and he gets taken out by Apple. Came back to try to clear that ward, got a little bit too close.
Very nicely done. They knew that somebody had to leave lane if they didn't want to lose their towers and or leave the Baron bit, and so they go, just bait it out a little bit more, get an extra kill. This is IM playing a lot smarter than we've seen in the past.
Yeah, it's kind of shocking.
But still, that main timer in 45 seconds for the KOO Tigers. Can they get the position on it once again? Smeb's TP is back up. They can certainly try again for a big flank play.
At what point, though, how many fights do you have to lose before IM is just too strong to do that against?
Yeah, that is the big question as we approach 6-item Maokai territory. They're going to go after this Baron again. They're going to get seen. Remember, Smeb has TP. He can absolutely get in here.
A couple wards thrown down by Hojin. He's going to try to go in and steal it. He does have his flash teleport coming in from Smeb as well. They've left that Baron very low. Frozen not hitting anyone with his ult there. Baron's still activated. KOO Tigers backing away now, just trying to buy time until Prey comes back. They have to be careful, though. Death Sentence nearly brought Smeb in.
And they still have the wards in the pit, too, so they may be able to do something. Prey dropping his ward from his... Oh, Tucson.
Here we go. Tucson got a little bit too far forward. Going to get caught. Arcane smash back in. Ignar in a little bit of trouble. There's a Gragas ultimate flash from Gorilla, though. Gets the ult out of Frozen. He's in trouble now. They're under turret, but it'll be a double kill for Kuro. And KOO Tigers finding their opportunity. They take out that tier 2. They get the kill on Frozen. On Ignar, can they turn this into a Baron now?
Well, IM right there really split up. They had 2 people in the mid lane and the rest of the 3 other places on the map, and that was immediately acted upon by KOO without a second of hesitation. Hojin using his flash, and now they should be able to get this Baron.
Yeah, Kuro goes in on the Apple.
Oh, he stunned
got the stun. Sonstar in a lot of trouble trying to chase him, and that's another kill. Hojin picking one off that Kuro did most of the work for. Baron still very low. Looks like Smeb and Prey should be able to finish it off, and so Baron buff on all 5 members of KOO looked a little bit dicey, but they found their opportunity. They can go and claim a 4th dragon at the same time, and then probably send somebody up the top lane. They've already sent Smeb.
Well, you have to feel a little bad for IM because they really did play much better this game. If we think about how well they played around those flanks, not only in terms of Ignar's just defense of his back line on the flanks, but also the pink wards that the team set up. They did a great job. Unfortunately, they get caught out, split up when there's so much single target CC from the Maokai coming in, and that is just enough to actually send them right back. So now everyone starting to go back for those buys. Kuro has a Guardian Angel now. And of course, the Thorn Mail for Smeb. Going to be really hard for IM to win this one now.
Yep. That just took Tucson getting caught once, and the entire team fell apart in that fight.
Really unfortunate, because I think that IM played this. They really did a good job of just pushing this game to the limit.
It really did. Now, though, KOO looking in pretty firm control. finally getting a handle on all those lanes.
There's no one to stop the Echo split push either.
Yep.
Even though he doesn't have a Lich Bane this game, he's going to be able to do enough damage to the tower. There goes another tier 2. Hojin responsible for taking out the tier 2 in the mid lane while the other 3 start to batter down the top lane.
Crow's even got the GA at this point, so between that, his ultimate, his Zonias, he's just going to be really hard to remove from fights.
Well, and also, even if he dies, you have to worry about it coming back to life and then just like ulting on top of himself instantly. It's a lot to consider when you're dealing with an Echo as to how many ways he can chrono break with all of these items. I really like that. I think it gives Echo so many different tools about his timing on his ultimate when you have the Zonias, when you have the GA.
Yeah, you have quite a few ways to cheat death. Well, all the pressure in mid lane right now. KOO Tigers trying to go in and take out this inhibitor turret.
Still stupidly hard for them to siege.
Yeah, well, what do you expect?
I expect this.
Well, you've got it.
I do.
Looks like the KOO Tigers are thinking of just maybe waiting out till that 5th dragon after this Baron buff runs out.
Yeah, they have to. It's just, no, they don't.
They may have caught Tucson again here. Yeah, I think they have. Equalizer comes down. Hojin actually getting the back lines a little bit. Apple comes in with a big flame spitter. The turret is gone, though. Frozen on the outskirts of the fight, looking for good arrows. Nice hail of arrows actually coming in there. Tucson still very low. The KOO Tigers looking okay at this point. Prey getting a lot of damage done, not losing any health. They can just take this inhibitor and walk out. That's exactly what they'll do. Woo! A lot of damage from Varus there.
So I thought they couldn't go in, but 3 members of IM had simultaneously recalled right there. So there were only 2 people left to defend, one of which was Tucson, which they quickly caught out. That was one of the very few ways that the Tigers were going to be able to actually crack the base, especially with that Baron buff falling off. Good opportunity taken. And so they get it. But still, you could see how low they got, even though that dive started 5v2. Still an element of risk.
Definitely.
So now they go back. But now that the base is broken, should be pretty easy for them to close right here. That was the major obstacle for them with this 4 melee garbage siege composition.
Especially if they wait for that 5th dragon, then with that buff, they're going to have no issues at all.
Yeah, that will obviously change a lot for them.
Yeah. Prey pretty much full items, or literally full items now. Pretty much everybody on KOO Tigers with everything they need.
You can see how far this IM composition has fallen off as well. The more armor stacking comes in. Here we go.
Several. They try to catch Frozen here. Frozen gets out on the lantern, though. Smep teleported in for that, too.
I mean, They tried to get that. Even though Frozen had his Banshee's Veil up, they used the Evelynn ult anyway.
Yeah.
Bit questionable.
Surprising.
There we go. Time Winder clearing out all those caster minions in one go. Whoop.
Yep.
It's a fun ability to watch.
It's even more fun when it sticks around after you die and you kill someone from beyond the grave. I enjoy it. Well, they're going to lose their tier 2 here, but that had like no health on it anyway, so.
It's a good response from IM.
Yep.
They know Smeb doesn't have TP. Smeb had to go reverse the wave at top side. Might as well take that very low tower. IM, their shot calling seems a lot better today than we've seen it in the past.
Yeah, I wonder how much of a impact Sansar is having in that regard. So that's really the only big difference, you know, as far as the roster goes.
Of course, we thought maybe because Lilac was in the last one that he was there for shot calling, but now with Tucson back, they're showing a much better performance.
Yeah, true enough. Dragon up in 20, and IM has plenty of wards down. They really can't allow KOO Tigers to have this one. It's do or die right now for Longzhu IM. And so this will be essentially where the game ends, you know, one way or another.
Yeah, very long death timers right now. Hojin has been sitting in that tri-brush for like the last 45 seconds. So he knows there aren't going to be any wards in there.
Yep, Dragon getting lower, watching for those teleports from both teams here.
Poke just doesn't do anything anymore.
Yeah, are they going to try to steal it? They grab Hojin. Hail of Arrows comes in. They're trying to pull it out again. They can't let that Dragon reset. Tucson coming in. Tucson got the Dragon. Clutch Dragon steal from IM. Can they win the fight, though? They get out onto Apple as well, too. Tucson in big trouble. A kill for Hojin already on Ignar. And KOO wants a bitter revenge. Kuro, GA popped, but he is still perfectly fine with that. And yeah, looks like the KOO Tigers are just going to try to bulldoze their way through the base now. Long death timers going for Baron first.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure they could actually finish right now. Just go for the Baron. Prevent any kind of reverse Baron right there. It's annoying that they lost that Dragon.
But they lost their top tier 2 as well.
Yeah, that was a big wave that had been developing there over time.
Well, more money for Kuro. I'm sure he doesn't feel bad about that. But man, how clutch was that for Tucson to come in, steal what would have been the 5th Dragon for
Crucial.
KOO. would have been beyond over if they would have gotten that.
Yes.
But as it is now, I am able to extend this game perhaps a little bit longer.
You see Gorilla even going for a Randuin's Omen right now. Just everybody getting so incredibly tanky on the side of the Tigers.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to take anybody out.
That's
That's for sure.
So the slow push will continue for the moment. The inhibitor's about to come back up. They have to deal with that. And KOO still lacks a great way to close this game, even with this lead, even with this composition, even with this Baron buff. They have to push very slowly forward against the mighty wave clear of Longzhu IM.
And now they have the edge, though, where they can siege one lane and then threaten a vulnerable inhibitor in mid, too.
Well, they should just go kill the inhibitor in bed.
I'm waiting for them to send somebody up there, yeah.
Smeb blocking the hook with his Banshee's Veil right there. 4,000 HP Maokai. Here we go.
Yep, Silveralt pop. They're going to go in. Gorilla flayed back. Parallel Convergence not hitting anybody. There's a nice equalizer, but I am all grouped up in the back there. Smeb, so tanky. And he can just sit there while the rest of his teammates take out the inhibitor. They can just go mid, take that one as well, too. Ignar down, but KOO Tigers don't really need a lot of kills to close this one out. They just need the objectives.
Yeah, Gorilla and Smeb, very smart there. Just go in on that engage because you have the Baron buff. And if you notice the way they dive, basically Smeb just zones them off the tower and then they kill the turret because that's the only way they can feasibly take it down is if Smeb just body blocks the rest of IM from dealing the necessary poke. And he's so damn tanky right now that it's pretty simple task. And they take down Ignar as well. So now the siege begins in the top side. Will we see something again? They need to wait for Prey's ultimate to be back up. Smeb just went back to base to heal up so they can go for round 2.
Yep, the fight's definitely not over yet. KOO Tigers coming in, and I'm sure they've got a lot of confidence coming into this one. Yep, just walking right in. Doesn't even matter that they get hit by the Varus ultimate. Chains of Corruption not really slowing down the KOO Tigers at all. And now that they're in, they can kind of spread out, poke down that inhibitor, let the minions do their thing. 2 cannon minions powered by Baron. That's going to be a dead inhibitor fairly soon, I would imagine.
Yeah, no one can walk up to clear them either because this tank line is so threatening from KOO. The Nautilus and the Maokai just sitting there, daring anyone to come into crowd control range.
Yep.
So all 3 inhibitors down now. The Tigers very methodical in their closure of this game. How long are they going to stick around? They can go back and wait for Dragon number 5 right now if they want.
Well, Siege, as we've mentioned so many times this game, is not looking the greatest from the KOO Tigers right now.
Definitely safest for them because IM is entirely bottled up in their base right now. They cannot contest another Dragon whatsoever.
Yep, well, they throw the parallel convergence in just to kind of distract IM again. A little bit, I guess. They get the box. Hojin gets brought in, flashes away, just out of that explosive cast. Sansar doing a lot of damage from behind, but here comes Kuro. Gets a nice stun off with that W. Ignar takes a lot of damage with the Time Winder coming back. Meanwhile, the turret's going down. Smeb just delaying while his teammates take out those turrets. Prey gets both of them. The Nexus very low, and the KOO Tigers are just going to go for it. Kills come in for IM, but not before the Nexus dies.